everybody, Waifu Collector here, the only fair human on earth, and we've got a little bit of an interesting story today. It just kind of randomly popped up and I found it kind of interesting. And it has to do with the now canceled Smash-like platform fighter formerly in development at Riot Games, best known for League of Legends, of course. So let's go ahead and get right into this. I'm gonna talk about the story and then I'll get into some of my own thoughts that have come up because of it. And that's when it'll get really fun. But real quick before we start, please remember to like the video if you end up enjoying and consider subscribing as well. On my channel, I observe the ins and outs of video games in the industry and I post videos every single week. So if that interests you at all, maybe consider subscribing. You won't be disappointed, probably. But okay, let's talk Riot. So, very recently, it was revealed that Riot Games was working on a game codenamed Pool Party. However, Pool Party was internally canceled back in May, which isn't that long ago, only a couple of months. But how long they were working on the game, we don't know. I mean, clearly it was still in the very early stages of development because it didn't even have a real name yet. But anyway, what this game was a platform fighter meant to closely mimic Super Smash Bros. Melee. And Melee is mentioned specifically. Now, why does that distinction matter? After all of the Smash games share a very similar framework. Well, one could argue that it doesn't matter, which I'll get to later. But for the people who make the distinction, saying Melee specifically means you want your game to lean into being a bit more competitive. And I will address this later with my own thoughts, but that's what they mean by mentioning Melee. And this Melee-like platform fighter obviously was going to take place in the League of Legends universe. Now, if you like Riot or you like fighting games, you're probably aware that they have a fighting game very much on the horizon called 2XKO, which is still a terrible name. So one might think that this canceled game was actually a scrapped prototype for 2XKO, which is very much coming. But that's not the case. Codename Pool Party was an entirely separate idea, and it was going to exist alongside 2XKO. So why was Pool Party canceled? I mean, games get canceled every day for so many different reasons, but we actually have some insight into why Pool Party may not have made it. And after I explain these possible cancellation reasons, I want to get into the more theory crafting and thought-provoking parts of the video. So the story goes like this. Riot was making a specifically Melee-like platform fighter. Melee-like is code word for competitive. So they were making a competitive platform fighter. That's what they set out to do, and they went to work on it. However, you know who else set out to make a competitive-leaning platform fighter? Our good friends at Player First Games, who made a little game called Multiversus. And we all remember what happened during the Multiversus beta. It's actually documented on my channel. The game had huge success for a couple of months, and then plummeted into complete irrelevance in what felt like an instant. Now, they did eventually come back and are currently in the cycle of trying again, but I'll touch on that in a little bit. What's important for now is to note that Riot Games saw what we saw happen to Multiversus as they were trying to build what was more or less the same thing. Seeing this caused a panic and then shifts in the direction of Pool Party. Shifts toward more casual, fun first, and party game elements. However, whoever was dictating this shift in direction, be it an exec or a creative director, was not completely in sync with the entirety of the dev team. As a result, a lot of developers working on Pool Party were not particularly enthusiastic about the game's new direction. They wanted to make a competitive platform fighter, not some silly, fun, chaotic brawler. This then would lead to a lot of devs not wanting to work on the game anymore, which would eventually turn into full-on cancellation of the project. And to our understanding, that is what happened. And with that news, we are now left to formulate our own thoughts on the matter, which is what I'm gonna do now. By first asking, is this what should have happened? Is it a good call to just shut the game down? Well, if your devs are unhappy and they don't like what they're working on and they aren't passionate about it, of course it is. So maybe the better question is, was it appropriate to course correct in the wake of Multiversus's apparent failure? And maybe, controversially, I'm gonna say that was the right call to change the direction of the game. Obviously, then you'd say objectively it wasn't because it upset your devs and then there's no game. And no, I get that, but theoretically, if the devs would have been cool with it, for the long-term success of the game, I think changing the direction to fun first was 100% the right move. And I'll tell you why, just hear me out. Platform fighters are not conducive to competitive gaming. Then why is there a competitive melee scene? Because there's always going to be people who want to be the best at everything. Just because someone's willing to compete at something doesn't mean it's competitive relative to other existing games. Us playing against each other for money doesn't change the nature of the game. It doesn't change the depth of the game. It doesn't move the skill ceiling. To me, the makeup of a platform fighter is too simple and too easy to truly create a vibrant competitive game. You can play Smash Bros, Multiverses, Brawlhalla, whatever. The skill floor is way too close to the skill ceiling. They are an effective tiny home of competitive gaming. You can pick up pretty much any character in a snap because everyone has the exact same inputs. They have the exact same inputs, but not the exact same moves. You know what that creates? Imbalance. You know what imbalance is bad for? Competition. If you are trying to create something competitive, the platform fighting formula is a terrible base. That's why Smash was never that. The game is so wacky and easy, and the skill floor is so low and close to the ceiling that just about anybody can beat anybody. And that is what makes it fun. Once you've removed all the items and other players and we 1v1 each other on Final Destination, all we've done is create a painfully simple joke of a fighting game. Melee has a competitive scene because it's an enormously fun, influential, and nostalgic game that people are passionate about. And so they created a different way to play it, even if it doesn't lend itself to that well at all. And we forget, because Melee is so fucking old, that most people don't play it like that. That is a very small subset of Smash players who are doing that. Most people play the game for what the game is. Pristinely made chaotic fun. Most of us have leaned into the fun and have probably done some dumb shit like turn the items on high, put on only Pokeballs and assist trophies, and give everyone 100 lives. That kind of dumb shit is why Smash is successful, not the incredibly forced competitive scene. And this is so fascinating to me because I just did a video about Mario Party where I questioned why games never copy the board game aspect of Mario Party. And it's similar here for Smash. Why is it so common for people to have fun with the game so much so that they want to mimic it, but also have no idea what makes that game fun? It's fucking mind-boggling. Where are all the items in the Smash clones? Where are all your crazy moving stages and nut stage hazards? That's why Smash is fun. That's why Smash is successful, not because of the niche community that has deluded themselves into thinking it's Tekken, that has deluded themselves into thinking it's Street Fighter. Hell, Mortal Kombat's competitive scene is virtually non-existent. Yet in reality, MK is 1,000 times more competitive than Smash Bros or anything like it in nature. Omega Stage all you want. It won't change what Smash is. We can look at Multiverses right now. They're trying to come back, but they're slipping once again for a myriad of reasons, but not the least of which being the fact that they are trying to build a competitive structure on fun first foundation. And they've made decisions and changes that clearly show that they know they should probably start leaning into the fun first, but you've built a fan base on promises of competition, so what do? They're in a nasty predicament. When you realize you've made a mistake far too deep into it, where you've marginalized yourself when you didn't have to. Not saying it's over for Multiverses, but it won't be an easy road back. And so after that long tangent, to get back on topic, if you ask me, the right decision was made in terms of the direction to Riot's codename Pool Party. But you had the wrong people developing the game. People who lacked a true understanding of the genre. So let this be a message to anyone who may be cooking up a platform fighter now or in the future. Get out of your bubble and off the internet for a second and really look at why Smash is as popular, fun, and long-standing as it is. Even those who come to Smash now for competition came to it long before they wanted it to be competitive. Find out why that is and emulate that. Whew. Alright though, we are now arriving at the end of this video. I'm sure you hate everything I said, that's fine. Hop in the comments and tell me how stupid and wrong I am. Even though I'm right, I'm extremely right about this. Sometimes you're just right. It's so funny, literally maybe a week ago, I was actually playing Multiverses with my friends and was talking about how player first want to create this competitive Smash thing, but this genre don't competitive. I don't think this thing competitives, buddy. And then I proceeded to say everything I said in this video. The Riot pool party story just gave me a relevant reason to record it. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like the video if you did, or subscribe if you really did. But either way, thanks for getting this far. Until next time, I am Waifu Collector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I'm gonna go play Smash Ultimate with all the items on. Goodbye.